Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Levittown Public Library Egoscue class with Kimberly Sabat on September 13th at 11 a.m. Take it away, Kimberly.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. See, you guys are all bright and shiny this morning. Let's see if we can fix that. No, not going to hit you too hard today. Some of you are new, so just equate the word egoscue with posture. That's it. So if you're new and what's all these weirdo words, it's just posture. So we're going to be giving you some stimulating exercises, and we're going to let your body adjust itself. According to the stimulation that it gets, it will adjust. So some of the moves we're going to be doing today are going to be a little bit stronger than you're used to, but I will give modifications. So I'm going to give you guys a really old menu, an old, very helpful menu. I'm going to go for some other moves that we haven't seen in a while. The only things that you're going to need today are going to be a chair or an ottoman. Usually you want something to be about 24 to 26 inches in height. This is for when we do our laying down. And we'll lay down and put our legs up on here. Sometimes we'll sit on it too. So a chair, we want to keep the legs at 90 degrees. Other thing we're going to be using is a belt today, a belt off of someone's pants, an actual functional belt. Don't use any of those fancy belts for girls to make them look pretty. You want to be able to put pressure on it and you don't want it to move. You cannot use a PT strap for that because it doesn't have enough resistance. The other thing we're going to be using today is an Egoscue block or a pillow right off your bed. I saw a guy just the other day and we were using pillows off of his bed. I was folding them in half and we're doing that to do the work with our legs. So that's it, your belt, your pillow, and your block. We're going to start in a standing position today. I'm going to get you right off with some arm circles. I'm going to come a little bit closer to the calendar, not the calendar. This is not a calendar, camera. So I'm going to show you guys how to do the modified golf grip. You're going to take your hands into a fist on both sides. And then you're going to flatten out your fist. You see how I make my palms very available? This is the grip that you want to take for the arm circles and for the elbow curls. Come to a standing position, everybody. Some of you know that you can do arm circles in so many different positions. Today, we're going to do them in standing position. If you like doing them sitting or kneeling, and that's where you like to do them, go for it. But not everybody knows that. I'm going to take my fist right between my big toes. And it's about a fist distance between my big toes, everybody. About a fist, maybe a little bit bigger. If something hurts today and you're new, if something hurts, don't do the exercise, just skip it. I'll give you a modification best I can. We're going to take the grip at our sides. I want you to squeeze your shoulder blades together. I'm going to turn around so you can see what that looks like. Notice I'm not lifting my sternum. I'm not doing this. I'm just squeezing my shoulder blades together. We're going to hold that there. So my feet are pointed straight ahead. Take the grip, squeeze your shoulder blades, bring the arms out to a T. We're going to circle up and forward 40 times. Now here's the kicker. You have to keep your belly relaxed. So let the gut hang out. I know that sounds a little frank. So what? I want you to let the gut hang out because if you suck it in, it's going to stop the right muscles from kicking on. I used to have a shoulder injury, so I couldn't do this one. I'd actually drop my arms and circle here. But if you're starting to feel pain, it doesn't feel right to you, please stop. We're going to be done in a moment anyway. Keep your belly relaxed. I keep sucking it in because I know I'm on camera. Let it hang out, everybody. I'm going to turn the palms up and point the thumbs behind. Keep the shoulders squeezing, circle up and back. Let the belly hang out. So what's happening here is we are perturbing the torso by way of moving the arms in this quick circular fashion. And what that's doing is it's turning on your hip flexors in a certain way. One of my students calls these the arm flaps, because it kind of looks like it. And relax, everybody. We're going to take the same grip for our next move. It's elbow curls, but we're going to do the elbow curls on the floor in static back position. If you cannot get on the floor and you don't feel like doing it, stay in the standing position. All we're doing is taking the knuckles to the temples with that same funky hand grip. We're going to bring the elbows together to touch and then bring the arms back, elbow curls. But I'm going to do it in the static back position. Again, if you can't lay down or something hurts or you just don't have that ability, do it standing. So I'm trapping my body, my legs rather, at 90 degrees. I've got my knees right over my hips and they're resting on top of the block or a chair. Take that modified golf grip that we just did in the last exercise and touch your temples, touch your knuckles to your temples. I'm gonna draw my elbows back and down into the floor. And even though my arms touch the floor, I'm gonna keep squeezing my shoulder blades together. So they're actually doing this on your back body. Squeeze, and then touch your elbows together if you can without bending your wrists. That's the key. Back and forth. If some of you have looked up Egoscue on YouTube and you looked up some celebrities who do it, you'll see Bill Murray doing Egoscue. He's laying in the grass, he's a big golfer, and he's doing elbow curls, laying in the grass. Remember, if something hurts, just skip the exercise, but don't give up. Don't give up just because you didn't find something that feels right or something that you could do just yet. We got a whole hour together. You might find 5 moves at the end of this session with you and me that really help you. So please don't give up. It's very important to keep your knuckles touching your temples. I have one of my clients, 5 reps into this, her hands are off of her face already. So keep your knuckles attached to your temples. This one's a tough one. I want to do it all day long because one of my arms is having a hard time doing it. Okay, I'm going to have you guys come to a sitting position. Come on up. We're going to hold the sitting floor twist. If you can't do this sitting on the floor, you can sit in a chair and twist your upper body in the same way. This one is not an easy move. This one requires an awful lot of focus and an awful lot of good form. So if you find, wow, I just can't keep the good form and you're starting to fall out, maybe just don't hold it so long, or you can have a seat in a chair. From the floor, I'm going to start out with our legs straight out in front of us. Now the leg that's going to stay straight, you want to keep it straight. So my thigh is nice and tight. In fact, I'm tightening my thigh so much. See how my heel has a tendency to lift up? That's only because of the shape of my calf. You might not do that, but you just want to keep the knee very straight. We're going to hold this move for a minute. Here's our setup. Legs start out straight. I'm going to leave my left leg on the floor. I'm going to bend my right knee and cross it over. You guys might not be able to do the crossover. Maybe you can just bend the knee, and that's okay. I can do the crossover, so I'm going to do it. Now you might feel, oh, I'm starting to slouch already. That's a no-no in this move. I want you to try to use your muscles to sit upright from the pelvis. Ooh, you guys feel that? Right in your left hip. Keep sitting. Twist towards the right. So towards the direction of my bent knee, that's where I'm twisting my chest. I'm going to hold this for 1 minute. I can put my elbow on the outside of my knee, but I'm not pulling my chest using my arm. I'm just resting my elbow on my knee. You want all of this work to be done through your torso and your hips. So if I actually take my hands off of the floor, I could still hold. You don't want to use your arms to hold you in this position. We want to use the muscles of the torso and the muscles of the hips. Everything's working together. Even your knee, you're using your hip muscles to pull it towards your chest. I'm not using my arms to do that. This is a really, really tough move. You can definitely get this done sitting in a chair. All we're doing is twisting our upper body to one side for 1 minute. That's it. Try not to lean into your back arm. My hand is just touching down just for a little balance. That's all. Keep your bottom leg nice and straight. Thigh is tight. Come on out. We're going to switch to the other side. Feel how much work that is? Whew, that is a lot of work. Okay, I'm going to leave my right leg straight on the ground. Thigh stays tight. Bending my left knee. Crossing the leg over. Twisting my body towards my bent knee. 1 minute. I just caught myself relaxing my ankle. So I pulled my ankle into dorsiflexion. I'm not doing relaxed ankle here. I'm pulling my toes towards my nose. My heel pushes away from me. My thigh stays tight. This is a working pose. Not easy. Haven't done this move in a while. There's a lot of load in this move. Did I even start my timer? We got to be close, right? 3, 2, 1, come out. I'm going to take it into cats and dogs. You can do that sitting in a chair, or you can do this on hands and knees. I'll demonstrate doing it in a chair. It looks like this. Hands on thighs, arch, round, back and forth. On hands and knees, that's where I'm going to do it. We go for 10 reps. If your wrists hurt you because your palms are flat on the floor and you've got a lot of flexion in them, you can make a fist and keep the wrist nice and straight. Put the fist into the ground. When you're doing cats and dogs, pay attention to initiating it from the pelvis, from your hips, and make sure you're finishing the move by moving through your shoulders. So the shoulders go through protraction, retraction, back and forth. Our next move is going to be a toughie. And they have a tendency to be tough with these old menus from like 20 years ago. So I'm giving you a very old Egoscue menu, and they are really, really tough. We're going to do planks next. I know, right? I'm going to show you planks on the floor, but for those of you that cannot do plank on the floor, we're going to do it against the wall. You can even lean on a chair. I've done that in the past too. So we're actually going to start out in our plank with our nose facing the floor first. Then we're going to do a side plank, the other side plank, and then a reverse plank. So if you're using a chair and you're unsure, you're not able to get down to the floor, so you're going to plank it like so. But when you do the plank, I want you to think about the cats and dogs move we just did. I want you to keep your shoulders back and down. That's the key. If this is too much for you, you can start at the wall. Pushing to the wall and drop your shoulders back and down. So here might be your beginner plank if you haven't worked really hard just yet. And we're going to hold it. We're going to try for 1 minute on each side. 1 minute. It's going to be pretty intense. So this is how your plank looks on the wall. When we do a side plank, same idea. Hand is shoulder height, lean in. Same thing with your other side. Your reverse plank we'll do on the chair. All right, I'm gonna get to the floor and you're gonna see how badly I stink at these. So I'm setting up for my plank. I'm gonna do it on my hands. I'm gonna already drop my shoulder blades together. That's the key here. Shoulder blades must stay together. I do not round in my plank. That's Egoscue style. Shoulder blades together, step my legs back, hold. Thighs tight, shoulder blades together. If you cannot hold it, don't worry about it. Do a couple of seconds, then put your knees down, take a break. In fact, I feel like doing that right now, but I'm not going to. Again, to make this easier, you can put your hands on a chair so you're not at a parallel angle to the floor. You can even do this against the wall, where you could be in control. But don't come here, everybody. This is not a plank. Do not round. I want you to keep your shoulders back and down. If that's too hard, go ahead and put your knees on the floor and put your shoulders back and down. We've got 15 more seconds. Come on, Kim. Thighs tight, shoulders back. That's it. Again, don't give up on me because the easy version of this is against the wall. So don't you dare give up and say, oh, she's doing plank on the floor. I can't do that. I give up. I will not accept that. We're going to come into side plank for 1 minute, everybody. Again, you can do this against the wall. Hand stays the same height as your shoulder. Keep your shoulders pinned back. Lean in a little bit. Here I go on the floor. Put your hand underneath your shoulder. I start out on my knee. When I'm ready, legs come out. I have the ability to put my top hand in the air. You might not. Maybe you're so off balance, you have to keep the hand down for now. That's okay. This is my weaker side, so you may see me fail here. Wow, my top hand is shaking. Ooh. Stay with me, everybody. I'm just going to take a little break because this is the shoulder that I had work done on. Lovely. I'm coming back in. See, it's not a bad idea to take a break if you need to. Feel like something's going to give out? Give yourself a break. I just did. Come on out, everybody. Good, that was a minute. I did my weak side first so I could see. Oh, that was a little scary, I'll be honest. I've been doing 30-second planks. Today I'm trying a minute. Okay, we're doing the other side, everybody. Again, if you're doing this against the wall, keep your hand the same height as your shoulder. Stand up, shoulders back, and lean in. Here we go. Hand under shoulder. Set it. And plank. I've seen people do this on their elbows. I've seen people just watch me do this and just take a break for a minute. That's okay. We've got one more after this, everybody. Reverse plank. I know it's not easy. Stay with me. If we don't challenge the body, it's not going to be able to remember what it can do. You'll surprise yourself. 10 seconds. Come on out. Our last plank is reverse plank. I don't know how good I'm going to look doing this. You can do a version of it, putting your hands on a chair behind you. Absolutely. So this is a modification for your reverse. You can put your hands on a chair behind you. You can bend your legs to help, but eventually you want to come to a position where your legs are straight. So there's that option. I'm going to try it on the floor and see what I can do. If it stinks for me, I'll put my hands on my chair. I hope you guys will do the same. Listen to your body. Reverse plank. The key in reverse plank, if your legs are actually straight out and you're not bending your legs to help you, I want you to keep the ankles dorsiflexed. So you're going to keep your ankles pulled back towards you. Thighs tight, lift. Oh, my left side's not cooperating. It's not the prettiest, but I'll work on it. At this point, I don't care which direction your hands are pointed. If you point your fingers away from you, it's going to recruit different muscles. You tell me how you feel and you go with what it feels like for you. Wow, is my left side weak? I'm going to try to reset my hands in a different position. See if I can lift a little more evenly. Yeah, that's more even. This is the hardest this routine is going to be. That's it, was the planks. The planks were in the middle of the routine. Come on down, everybody. Beautiful. That's it. That's the toughest part of the routine. Done. I'm going to take everybody to a wall stretch. It's actually called modified counter stretch because usually you do this on the counter. We're going to hold it for 1 minute. We're pointing the feet straight ahead, keeping the feet hip distance as usual, But I'm about arm's distance away from my wall or my door. I'm going to place my hands on the wall. In fact, I'm going to go a little bit higher than the camera can even see because as I back up, my hands are going to drop. If you have shoulder issues and your elbows keep bending, you're going to stance your hands really wide. All we're going to do is we're going to back up and put our body in the shape or close to the shape of an L. That's it. This is our move. So it's like a modified downward dog. We're just not loading the shoulders a whole lot. In a perfect world, you're going to keep your hands the same width as your shoulder joints. I want you to tighten both of your thighs. And the other part to this is, if you can, put a little curve in your lower back. I want you to do that from your hips. That's called an anterior pelvic tilt. Keep both of your thighs tight, ladies and gentlemen. Try to keep your butt muscles relaxed. I'm trying to access the front muscles. I'm working on the iliopsoas, even though it does connect into your lower back. I'm working on the iliopsoas, hip flexor. Wonderful, everybody. Come on out. Okay, remember I told you before to get a pillow or a block and a strap? You're going to grab those for me now. And I want you to put those nearby because we're coming down to the floor. Put those near you because we're going to be using those. Fantastic. Make sure those are nearby. All right. Some of you have a very, very good time with upper spinal floor twist and hip crossover stretch. So we're going to do both of those. I'm going to lay on your left side just so that my cueing can be a little more uniform. I'm going to lay on my left side. If you cannot lay on the floor, then you can do this sitting in a chair. It's the same idea. So I'm on my left side. I have my knees and my hips at 90 degrees. I'm going to put my left hand on top of my knees to hold them in this vertical stack. You don't want them to move. You want them to be in this very pretty stack. Top arm is going to open like a book. See how my hand, my wrist, and my elbow are all in line with both of my shoulders. Twist open. I'm actually going to hold this one for 2 minutes. If you have a shoulder injury, maybe you want to rest your arm on a couch or a pillow. This might be a little bit too much leverage on the shoulder area. That's where I used to be. You can also rest your hand on your ribs if it's just a little bit too much for you. And if you're sitting in a chair, it's the same idea. I'm sitting in a chair and I'm twisting my upper body, just like the other move we did earlier. Take your left hand and feel your knees. Did you start to cheat? One of my clients, she really doesn't pay attention. I have to stay on top of her. She cheats within a few seconds of fixing herself. So you don't want to let your knees slide from that vertical stack that they were in. Once that happens, then your arm and your shoulder hit the floor prematurely. That's the first minute. If everybody's okay, we're going to stay in it for 1 more minute. There's a lot of leverage in this pose. I'm sure you can feel it. Things are pulling. There's a lot of weight in your arm, pulling through your back, forcing your hip to do work. There's a lot going on here. This is almost like the easier version of the sitting floor twist that we did. Sitting floor twist has a lot more combinations in it and a lot more work. Good, come on out. Some of you have a tendency to go wrong here. I'm just going to give you a little bit of troubleshooting. As you twist, your arm should stay at 90 degrees to your torso. And I know some of you might not be spatially aware of what your body is doing. So as soon as your arm starts sliding towards your butt, you think, oh, good, I'm touching the floor. Well, no, your shoulder is popping forward. So I really want this stretch to be felt into the shoulder, into the pec, into your chest area. I'm going to lay on the right side now. Hug your knees in at 90 degrees. Get your beautiful stack and twist open. This side looks ugly on me. Maybe it looks better on you. I hope so. No, I'm still rehabbing from that reattached muscle that the doctor convinced me to do. Notice my wording. It's because I'm not really happy with the outcome. That's all. So I got a lot of work to do to get back to where I was. Let me demonstrate again. So here, if your arm starts sliding towards your butt, you're going to start feeling all of this in the shoulder joint. That's not where we want you to feel it. Keep your arm in line with both of your shoulders. Eventually, it will touch the floor. That's not going to happen for me today, but maybe it'll happen for you, and maybe the next minute. I'm going to stay for one more minute if you're okay, everybody. One more minute. I could totally cheat here by unstacking my knees. Boom, my shoulder hit the floor. But now my knees aren't stacked and my pelvis is dropping back. So don't do that, everybody. Keep the knees stacked, keep your pelvis stacked. What we're doing is retraining the tissues and muscles, tendons, like everything. Retraining the upper body how to rotate while trapping the lower body. Everybody feel your bottom hip doing work? Maybe some of you do, maybe some of you don't. That bottom hip should be doing work as well. We'll flip over, we're gonna come into the frog position, nice and easy. The soles of the feet come together and the knees flop out. Some people see me on video and they say, my legs can't hit the floor like yours, Kim. My legs are not laying on the floor. It might look like they are. They're pretty darn close because I have good range of motion. But it's okay if your legs are here. Just take the frog position and let your legs flop where they're going to be. We're gonna hold here for 1 minute and then we're gonna add some pullovers because that's nice and easy to do in frog. I like to leave my arms at 45 degrees with my palms up. This feels pretty good after all that work we did. Lovely. Stay in the frog position if it's okay. If this is not okay for you, then you don't have to stay in the frog position. You can get this done sitting in a chair too, everybody. So this is just you sitting in a chair. Frog position, sitting in a chair. Definitely get this done. From here, we're going to do frog pullovers. You're going to interlace your hands, touch your palms together, keep your elbows straight. That's the key. Drop your arms backwards overhead, or if you're sitting, you're just going to pick your arms up overhead, back and forth. Nobody says you can't do that. Sure, I've never done that before, sitting in a chair or cued you guys to do that. But if you cannot get on the floor, you've got to do something. So get this done while you're sitting in a chair. Keep your elbows straight. Elbows stay straight. Pay attention to your fists coming directly over your nose, over your forehead, going behind you. Do not bend your elbows to hit the floor. Your shoulders should allow you to hit the floor. This exercise is stimulating your body to remind it that it eventually can hit the floor. These tissues need to remember. We are going to do cross crawl and knee drops as well. So we're going to coordinate arms and legs together. And then we're going to do some strengthening stuff. Wonderful. We're going to rest the arms, everybody. We're going to take the legs to a position a little bit wider than hip distance, little wider than hip distance. Can you do this sitting in a chair? Yes, you can. So you can sit in a chair and you can drop your knees back and forth. But when you do this from the floor, even in the chair, I want you to keep your feet pointed straight ahead. Keep them parallel. We're going a little wider than hip distance, everybody. So here might be my hip distance. I want you to go one step wider than hip distance. We're going to do a knee drop like this, but I'm going to lay down on the floor. With knee drops, our goal is to hit the floor with both of our knees. I want you to drive from your hip area. Your butt is going to come up off of the floor, one cheek at a time. That's how much you're twisting. Shoulders stay on the floor though. You do not push into the floor to get your hips to twist. This is a motion that should be done by the hips. Harder version of this is femur rotations. So this is a little more gentle version because it's allowing movement to come through your lower back. Pay attention to your feet. So as we've gone through these 15 reps or so, double check your feet, make sure they're still parallel. Make sure you're not lifting up onto your heels and doing something like that. I want you to keep your toes down, but we're just going to the inside and outside edges of each of your feet. So don't pick your feet up off the floor while you're doing this. Inside, outside edges. Wow, almost getting tired doing this. Anybody else feeling that? Goodness, I've been doing too much bicycle work. I need more rotation. Okay, we're gonna head into cross crawl. Then we're gonna use our tools here. Make sure I don't hit the wall. Darn it, move this back a little more. Okay, back, 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 back. All right, cross crawl. If you're laying on the floor with me, you're gonna leave the body nice and straight and flat. You can do this standing otherwise. So I'm gonna pick my right arm up and overhead. Same time, I'm gonna pull my left knee in towards my chest and put it back down. Left arm, right leg, right arm, left leg. The way this looks when you're standing up, same idea, everybody. This is so creative, right? That's it. Back and forth. That's our cross crawl. That's your cross crawl. Arm and leg, arm and leg. Marching band, except we're laying down on the floor. Try not to drop your heel to your butt, ladies and gentlemen. When you pull the knee in towards your chest, keep your shin parallel to the floor. Keep your ankle dorsiflex. As soon as you drop your heel to your butt, it's going to turn off the way your hip works. And you will feel a difference. So keep your shin parallel to the floor as you pull in. You're going to feel the difference. I tell you, you guys are really lucky. Not patting myself on the back here, but I met a client over the weekend and he does not use the internet. He doesn't even use his email. He doesn't even answer me sometimes when I send him his text messages. So you guys have this ability to use the internet, get all of these great moves and getting them for free. People like him need printed moves, printed books. He's kind of stuck in the Stone Age. And he kind of does that on purpose. But he's sorely lacking because he needs me. He needs these routines. But his choice is to, no, I don't want to use the internet. I have a block, he says. So, you know, these are choices. But you guys are very lucky to be able to utilize this tool for yourselves. Very lucky. Thank you for making the choice to be with me today. I really appreciate everyone's support. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now we're going to utilize our tools. I want you guys to take your block or your pillow. We're going to put that in between your knees. You're going to take your belt and you're going to put that around your ankles. This is our double switch. Some of you have been with me for a while. You know you've got the whole flat back syndrome thing going on. So you could take your rolls and you could put that underneath your lower back for this move. That's only for those of you who know what the heck I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. When you set yourself up to put the strap around your ankles, I want the feet to be a fist distance apart between the toes, a little bit wider than the fist. It's about where you want to be. Then the block goes in between your knees. This is a tough routine here. This is a toughie. I will not lie. These moves are challenging, very challenging. Okay. Oh, welcome back, roll. I wasn't able to use these in my past routines because I gave it to my dad. I think it collected dust, to be honest. I don't think he used it. But I've got it back now. Okay. So your ankles are strapped up. You got a block or a pillow between your knees. What we're going to do is push in on the pillow with your knees, and you're going to push out on the strap with your ankles. Don't move your feet. Your feet are going to want to do this. They're going to want to evert. Don't let them. Keep them parallel. Then relax and do it again. Knees and ankles, relax. Knees and ankles, relax. Some of you will have a hard time doing this and keeping it, what's the word I'm looking for? Simultaneous. So if you cannot do this simultaneously, knees in and ankles out, segment it. Segment it. You can go ankles out, knees in, relax. Ankles out, knees in, relax. You'll notice that when you go ankles out anyway, your knees have a tendency to want to go in. Over the course of the few minutes while we do this, it's going to create a more simultaneous pattern anyway. So that's what we're going for. I just caught myself giving like 80 or 90% of my strength. Dial it down, Kim. And I want you guys to dial it down too, or else you're just going to get really tired and you're going to start compensating. So give it about maybe 50% of your effort, maybe even less. We're going for balance here. Holy cow, my right side is working incredibly hard and my left side's like, whatever. Anybody else feel that? Maybe it's vice versa for you. Maybe you feel one calf is turning on. Maybe you're getting a foot cramp. This should give you a similar sensation on the left side as on the right side. Same muscles should be doing the same work, but I'm sure they're not for many of you. Now it's moving into my shins. So the body's hunting around. It's trying to find the most optimal recruitment while we trap it. We're trapping the body, forcing it to recruit these proper muscles. I feel like staying here forever because I'm so off balance. No. No. We are going to add on to this move. I am going to add a lift. If that hurts, don't do it. Oh, and I forgot to say, yes, you can get this done sitting in a chair. Basically, that's the position that I'm sitting in or that I'm laying in. You can put a strap around your ankles and a pillow between your knees while you're sitting in a chair. Left side's turning on. Yay. Okay. Just took a few reps. That's all. Make sure your feet are still parallel, ladies and gentlemen. That's the key here. So what we're actually going after here is your hips. The muscles around your hips, we're asking them to move your legs, even though your legs aren't moving. They're trapped. For most of us, when we're walking, our hips are doing less and less and less work. And our calves and feet and quads, they're doing way more work than they should be. And other muscles are shutting down. So this is helping to recruit them. Is everyone ready for the lift? because I'm going to add it. When we do the lift, you put the pressure on, so knees go in, ankles go out, you hold it, and you pick your feet off of the floor 2 to 6 inches. It's not that high. It's a little lift and then back down. Lift and back down. I'm lifting from my hips. Beautiful, everybody. I'm watching you guys go. This might be really painful for some of you. If it is, don't do the lift. Just keep your feet on the floor and keep on working on the previous exercise. Holy cow, my right leg's doing so much work. Left side, not so much. Okay, I know how to fix that. I'm gonna have to do some other work. Yeah, amazing. If I was one of you guys, I would say, okay, I have to stop this movement for you because my right side is compensating crazily. Crazily. We'd have to regress. Oh, it's gonna cramp soon. That's good. If it cramps, then either it's just gonna let go and the other side's gonna have to take over, or I may pass out on camera. Couple of more lifts, everyone. Keep that pressure. Knees go in, ankles go out, lift and lower. Wow. Body is just such a wonder. Such a wonder. Oh, wonderful. We're going to switch it now. We're going to go for the double. So we're going to put the strap around the knees this time. And we're going to put the pillow in between the ankles. And when you put the strap around your knees, again, you want to keep the knees hip distance apart. So hip distance is about a fist distance between the knees, about. It's about the length of a dollar bill. That's where your hips line up. For the longest time, I was strapping up my legs way too narrowly. I think I did that for the first 2 years. So check it out. It's not going to kill you if you let the strap go a little bit wider, just a hair wider. And you might notice, ooh, now all of a sudden I feel it in a different place. It's not a bad thing to feel it out. Okay, strap is around the knees. Block or pillow is between the ankles and the feet. Apply your pressure on the block. It's the whole instep of the foot, the ankle, the big toe, the heel, everything. And then the knees push out. Try to keep it simultaneous, go over and over. It's not easy. Not easy. I just caught myself paying a little more attention to my knees pushing out than my ankles going in. So I'm just going to dial back my effort a little bit. There we go. So I was trying way too hard, pushing my knees out, and the feet going in really weren't doing anything. And now my left side is turning on very nicely. I hope you guys feel the difference between this exercise and the last one where the strap was around the ankles and the block was between your knees. It's the opposite. So I hope you're feeling it on the opposite areas of your legs. As your knees push out and your ankles go in, you should be feeling it, maybe outer thigh. Some of you might be feeling hamstring on the back of the leg. But I hope eventually you'll start feeling it in your butt. And that might take maybe laying here for 60 reps. Maybe it'll take 100 reps. The point is to give your body the stimulus and let it adjust itself. That's why so many people enjoy Egoscue, because it's not about forcing. It's not about effort. We trap it and we trust the wisdom of the body to do what it needs to do. It might not happen this week or next week. Maybe it'll happen next month. But if we trust the wisdom in the body, then it will be more of a sustainable change. I absolutely hate that word sustainable because it's thrown around a lot today. And I don't like it, but that's the only one that I got now. It's a change for the long term, and it'll hold longer. Is everyone ready for the lift? Okay, so I'm ready to add that lift. I'm gonna keep the pressure on the strap, keep the pressure on the block, don't drop it. Lift and lower. Again, tune into your body. So if something says, ow, this one doesn't feel good, don't lift. Don't lift. You don't have to. One of my new clients that I met this weekend, oh goodness. My goodness. Loves to push. It's a new paradigm shift to tell people that more is not better, especially if there's an athlete mentality. And sometimes people get to the point where they've been pushing so hard for so long, they've divorced themselves from their bodies. Not only can they not tell you where they feel the pain or what degree of pain they have or what kind of sensation they're feeling, but they also refer to their body as it or that leg or this arm. It's not my arm or my leg. So interesting to listen to that vocabulary that people use. Few more lifts, everybody. Few more lifts. Whew, that was a good one. Wow, I feel like giving up after this. I just want to do a static back for 10 minutes. You guys too? We're not going to. We are definitely not going to. All right. Let's take all this stuff out from under us and all about us. I'm going to give it a couple of pelvic tilts here. So I'm still laying in hook line position. If you're sitting on the chair, you're just going to do your cats and dogs again. Pelvic tilts is rocking your pelvis back and forth, all the way in one direction and then all the way in the other direction. One of my clients just tucks in one direction and then comes back to neutral. No, no, no. All the way anterior, all the way posterior. So your lower back hits the floor and then your lower back comes off the floor. Back and forth. Very good. Hey, we haven't hit these in a while. Let's stay here. Glute squeezes in the hook line position. Bam. Oh, those almost ache now. Glute squeezes. So we're just squeezing the butt cheeks, cracking a walnut over and over. Make sure you're not using your belly here. Put your hands on your belly. Are you tightening your abdominals while you do your glute squeezes? Then I want you to do less effort. If you're not sure if you're doing a glute squeeze, put your hands on your butt. You should feel those muscles tightening and getting hard. If you don't, you might have a hard time recruiting your glutes. So if that's you and nothing is happening, straighten your legs out on the floor and then do your glute squeezes. I guarantee something will start happening then. Over and over and over. Squeeze, release, squeeze, release. Wow, these feel good. These feel great. After all that hip work, inner thigh work, these feel fantastic. What are we gonna do when we stand up? Oh, how am I gonna finish out today? Let's do kind of easy. Okay, I'm ready to get up. I hope you guys are too. We'll do kind of easy. I'm gonna take you guys into a windmill, standing windmill. If you have a nice, clean, open wall, you're gonna bring your heels to the wall. I've got the baseboard heater, so I can't exactly go against the wall, but I'll pretend. My feet are hip distance. I'm gonna bring my arms up to a T. If this hurts your shoulders, bring them lower. If it really hurts, put your hands on your hips. But we're only moving from the mid-waist, everybody, mid-waist. So keep your butt glued to your wall or your imaginary wall. Heels stay down. And we tip back and forth. I see everybody doing so well. Beautiful form, everyone. Usually I'm catching people doing stuff like this. Do not move from your shoulders. This is a move for your waist. Keep your heels on the ground. Believe it or not, this is getting rotation out of your body. Think about your thumb and your pinky grazing on the wall or your imaginary wall. And we're gonna stance the feet out wider. Keep the feet parallel, parallel. We're teaching the hips to load. Waking up some abductors. Adductors too, because they have to support that. Those are the muscles on the inside and outside of the leg. Back and forth. We're gonna go even wider. I want you to go as wide as you can while staying in control. If you have socks on, it's gonna be bad. So put shoes on or go barefoot. Remember, you want that imaginary wall. We're using that as a guide. Keep us flat. Perfect, perfect. Our last position is our first position. Feet come back to hip distance. What would this be without an air bench? Take yourselves against your wall or your door. If you're using a door, make sure the door is in the closed position and you're relying on the integrity of the wall, not the integrity of the lock. You're gonna walk your feet out so that they're past your knees. Then you can begin to slide your body down. You have to be able to hold yourself here. So if you feel, whoa, this is too much, just go a little bit higher, but keep your feet and knees hip distance. If they're not, and they start diving in or diving out, put a pillow between your knees. 1 minute. You feel like being a rock star today? You're gonna hold it for 2 minutes. My hands are just resting in my lap. In fact, I'm gonna leave them at the sides. Because as soon as you do this, it's cheating. I'm pushing my lower back into the wall using both of my thigh muscles. So we're really slamming both of the femurs, that's the upper thigh bone, we're slamming them into the pelvis. This is really forcing the rotation, any rotation, to come right out of the body, especially from the pelvis. You got 10 more seconds. If you feel like a rock star, you're gonna come with me and we'll hold for another minute. This is usually a 2-minute long move. I am not forcing my head on the wall either. So if your shoulders are so rounded to the point where your head is off the wall, don't force it. The only thing that we're strongly pushing is the pelvis into the wall using our thigh muscles. This is our very active static back. 20 seconds. And then I'll let you go. Whoa. We're done. Stay with me, Matt. Okay, good. Thing slipped on me. Guys, thank you so much for being a part of this routine this morning. I look forward to seeing you again the next week. Thank you for your support. Have a great day.